Okay, right, so here we go. So here's our session. So it's going to record what I'm doing now, so you get used to this. I'm going to start doing this in a lot of lessons. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a simple calculator, all right? So we're going to recreate the times tables, which I know some of you said you've looked at before, but it's just a good way to introduce you to formulas. So a little tip first of all, to get the numbers 1 to 10 down the left. Can anybody remember how the quick way was of doing it? No? So I'll show you now. If I click here the number 1 and then put below it the number 2, and then I highlight both of those and drag this little square here down, it fills it in for me. Do you think you can do that? Okay, see if you can do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the letter X in the column next to it and do the same. Drag that down and it puts X's in all the way down. Okay? Everybody with me so far? If I zoom in a little bit, it might make it a bit easier to see. Okay, would you like me to do it again to show you? Watch. If I do it again, just watch. Here we go. So I type the number 1, and then below it I type the number 2, and then what I do is I highlight both cells, and then I use the little square that appears in the bottom right corner of just underneath the number 2 here, and I drag it down until I've put in 10 numbers. Okay? Yeah? Yeah, well, click number 2, and then highlight both of them. Highlight both of them. Highlight both of them. You've highlighted only one of them. Okay? And then do the X and drag that down. Put X in once and drag it down. Put it? Yeah, because you haven't highlighted 1 and 2. So highlight 1 and 2, and then drag it down.
Oh, yes.
Okay? And then you can do the same with the letter X. Well done, Charlie. You managed it? Excellent. Right. Okay, so I'll do it with the letter X. Just watch. Here we go. And if I drag that down, that repeats what's in there. Now I want to center these. Okay? I want to center them. So it's starting to look a little bit more like a times table might look. Agree? So the first thing we're going to do is we want to do the 2 times table. So watch how I do this. Just take a look at the screen. I put the number 2 in here, cell C2, and I drag the number 2 all the way to the bottom like so, and I center it. Okay? Yeah, you with me so far? Good. Excellent. All right, Tyler, you got it? Now, the next thing we've got is a little bit of a problem, because when you press the equals sign in Excel, you're actually telling the computer that you really want to start some kind of formula. That's what signifies to the computer you're starting a formula. So what I suggest you do here, a little trick to overcome that, is press the space bar and then the equals sign and drag that down. That way you won't create a bit of a problem. Okay? So press the space bar, then the equals sign, and then drag that down as well. How are we getting on? All good? Ollie and Lizzie got it sorted? Yeah? Excellent. Right. You can centre it if you wish. Yeah, why not? Looks a bit more uniform if you centre it, doesn't it? Okay. Now, the final thing. This is where we start doing the equation. Okay, so you just need to watch this for now. Because what we want to do, if I was saying to you, work that sum out, Charlie, perhaps you can help us here. Now, I know you know the answer. Okay, it's pretty straightforward maths sum at the moment. But tell me what we have to work out in order to get the answer.
1 times 2.
1 times 2, okay. Now the computer doesn't actually see that as 1 times 2. What the computer is seeing is that you've got a number in cell A2 and a number in cell C2. Does that make sense? You've got to start thinking about how the spreadsheet looks, not just the information that's in it. So the sum is actually this. Here we go. We press equals. Don't do this, just watch. I click on A2. I press the star button, because that's what means multiplication to the computer. And I click on C2. Try that and then press enter and see what happens. So equals A2 star Stars on your number pad on the right. It's probably the easiest place. Or you can press Shift and the number 8, and then C2 and press Enter. And it should give you the answer. And then if you drag the answer down using the little square, it's actually picked up the whole times table for you, and it's worked out the answer. So you've just created a very quick times table. Okay? Now that's all very well for the 2 times table, but we want to be a bit more adventurous than that. So let's just center this.
So how do you get the A2 and C2?
Okay, so type where you want the answer, click in the cell where you want the answer, and press equals.
So I can't write it down.
Now click on cell B1, which is there. Press the star key. Click on, no, once. And then click on D2. Press enter. Okay, and then drag that down. Okay, now we're going to change this a little bit because we can actually make this into a really funky times tabler. And the way I'm going to do that is as follows. So watch. If I change this number here to 6 and drag it down, it'll change all my answers, okay, which is quite cool. But I don't really want to be dragging down every time I do it, do I? So what I want to do, I want to make all of these numbers here, okay, equal, be the same, don't I? So we know it's all the number 6 at the moment, so we want them to be the same every time. So here's a little cheeky way that you can actually do that. So just watch. So I'm actually going to get rid of all of these here, which will change these to 0. But what I want is everything from here down to be the same as the number 6. If I press equals and click there, press enter, and then I click back here and drag this down, just watch. Now whatever number I change that top one to, the rest will automatically change. Okay?
So how do you do it?
So if I want my 78 times table, so watch, I'll do it again. I'll delete everything, just watch. So let's say in the top one here, I want the number 7. The cell below it, I want to be the same as the cell above. So I press equals, which means it's going to copy what's in that cell there. Does that make sense? And press enter. And then click back on that second number 7 and drag it all the way to the bottom. And then whatever you change the top one to, it will work out the answer for you. See if you can do that.
No.
You done it? Is that good?
Yeah.
So if someone said to you, right, can you tell me what the 14.75 times table is? Can you work that out for me, Tyler, very quickly? 14.75 times table. Is there such a thing? Will it work?
Yeah.
It's worked. It's amazing, isn't it? You've just made a very simple times tabler calculator. How useful is that? Yeah?
So, yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to stop my screen share here.